You're listening to Rudy Radio, powered by Rude Rangers Entertainment. I am Terra Renee, the African American Woman in Cinema organization, from the organization, and this is Talk with Terra, a show that highlights fantastic filmmakers, artists, and entertainers from all walks of life. We're committed to introducing to you individuals, organizations, and projects of which you're not necessarily aware. And we do this with the intention of uplifting, empowering, and enlightening you. If you can, please share this episode on all your social media. We also love it if you can text your friends and ask them to tune in. Feel free to ask questions, make comments, and or share your thoughts at any point during the show, and we promise to respond. Today, we have a phenomenal filmmaker, Miss Shana, who is, I'm just so happy to have her as a guest today. She's going to be talking about what she's been doing. One of the projects that we featured in our online media series is called The Trail, and we'll talk to you all about that. But without further ado, please help me welcome Miss Shana. Hello, Shana.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. Just enjoying this weird winter.
I hear you. Well, hopefully, Shana, it will produce a fantastic summer. How about that? Or spring.
Fingers crossed.
Awesome. Well, can you tell the audience what drew you into filmmaking?
I've loved film since I was a kid. I didn't really know how to get into that though. Like I love film and TV, but I have West Indian parents, you have immigrant parents. It's like you become an engineer or a nurse or a doctor. Those are the acceptable jobs. And I did not want to be any of those. Thankfully, my sister became a nurse to make up for the unfortunateness of my being a creative person. But I always wanted to go in a creative field. But with film, it was just this kind of like, how do I do that? Mm-hmm. And I ended up doing fashion for a few years because it was creative. I liked fashion. But around the time I had my son, I realized that fashion wasn't really the passion I had, and I'd been wanting to do film for so long, and it was like, you know what? I have internet access now, unlike when I was a kid. How about I go and find out how to do this? So I started taking classes at NYU's School of Continuing Education, so I could like parlay the knowledge I had from fashion into film work, and started doing post-production, learned how to do motion graphics with After Effects, which is essentially Photoshop / Illustrator, but for moving objects. And then from there, eventually learned how to edit. And then I started doing some production assistant work. And I had been writing for years, ever since I was a little kid. And there came a moment where after my script, The Trail, had made it to the second round at Austin Film Festival, I decided I need to film this. I can't just keep writing stuff and sending it off to competitions and then nothing happens to it other than someone says, well, good work. And I was like, I'm going to do something with this. So it was filmed out in Long Island. I had met a producer, Jennifer Chu. She was a great help, and worked with oh my goodness, like I'm drawing a blank on everything right now. But I worked with a great line producer and unit production manager who helped me find a location out in Long Island. Kelly Fustel, sorry. So they helped me find a location out in Long Island so we could film outdoors. And it was 2 days of stressful work, but it was so worth it to like get this thing out there. And then after I did that, I was like, oh, I can keep doing this. So that was the great experience.
Well, I have to tell you, job well done. When we had the fortunate opportunity to screen the trail at one of our programs in Harlem, audience loved it, and also online. But I tell you, Shauna, I got so caught up in the trail. It was as if I was there, and it was amazing how you started off this beautiful couple, and then it just went like downhill. They started getting lost. It's like, what? Could you tell a little bit about the story and how you came to do this actual story?
The intriguing thing is, I think I was looking on Craigslist and I saw someone had posted something like they need a 10-minute script. So I was like, think of stuff. And I'm like, oh, I know. Traveling with my husband, we always get to the airport and suddenly you're like, why are we doing this? I had this idea of what happens if you take a couple who, it's like even worse than the airport. They go for what should be a pleasant walk, out in the wilderness. And then it's just like they essentially end up in Twilight Zone, the woods, and keep coming to the same place. And then they, of course, take it out on each other because that's who's there to be angry at. And like, I think anyone in a relationship can understand the whole, oh my God, I'm angry. And you're right there. So you're going to get the brunt of this, even though not the appropriate thing to do. But that's what people do. So
yes. And it was so well cast. I mean, how did you go about getting this excellent talent that you had?
Oh, well, Karen Michelle, we were lucky enough that while I was workshopping the script through the writers group I was a member of at the time, she was a member. She didn't really write as much as she's an actress that loves to act. So for her, any opportunity to like read a new script, she was always there. So I was already familiar with her, seeing her in form, and so she was easy to cast. And then Laval, I think I had used like Breakdown to do casting and met with several actors, but he was the one that Karen had the most chemistry with, and Laval is great. He's also writes himself, so he's like written a couple of short films and made them. I was actually a background character in one of his short films. Hopefully that'll come out soon. But it's really great, and he's done some commercial work, so you've probably seen him in some commercials. And I believe he was an episode of like investigative discovery thing. So keep an eye out for that.
Well, that is good. On that note, we'll be right back with more Talk with Terra. You're listening to the phenomenal, fantastic Miss Filmmaker, Miss Shana.
Hi, I'm Harry O. Confetti, international Formula One driver. I sped to get to Long Island Telecom before they closed. I need to get one of these fantastic deals that Long Island Telecom has, because you can't beat the price anywhere else. Oh, get away from that car. What are you doing? Freaking kids playing with the car out there. Anyway, I'm glad I got here. Wait, what do you mean you're closing? I gotta come back tomorrow? What's your number? 631-833-9679? Oh, stop writing me a ticket.
And welcome back to Talk with Terra. I am Terra Renee from African American Woman in Cinema. And today we're talking with filmmaker Shana, who did the incredible film, The Trail, in which was featured in both African American Women in Cinema program in Harlem and also on the AAWIC online media series. And Shana was just talking with us, letting us know how she picked her phenomenal actors. And I have a question, Shana. You know, every time I talk to a filmmaker, I always like to shed light on the behind the scenes. So a lot of times people don't realize, you know, once they see the finished product, they don't understand the drama that goes on. And the reason why, Shana, I like to shed light on this, because a lot of the times, you know, when you read publications or hearing some types of interviews, a lot of times this element is very, very uniquely edited out. And then when people go to make their projects and they experience all kinds of things, they think something is wrong, like they're doing something wrong, their approach is wrong, something that they're missing. And they don't realize this is the norm. You know, it's like, you know, being pregnant, you know, there are times you're going to be very, very hungry. It's the norm. So please, so please tell us if you could just shed maybe a couple of stories on some of the what went on behind the scenes in the execution of The Trail.
Oh wow. Well, there was one scene that unfortunately got cut where Karen goes through a spider web, and like we couldn't find a good prop spider web, so then it was like, you know what, we're in the woods, there's spider webs. So I had her run through an actual spider web. She's terrified of spiders. But I think it was like someone behind the scenes ended up laughing hysterically because she genuinely freaked out. And it looks amazing until you hear the laughing in the background. I would so love to be able to use this, but laughing. So it's like little things like that. There's always that scene that you picture it in your head and it's perfect, and then you get on set and the dialogue doesn't sound right. It just sounds unnatural, or you know, it suddenly starts raining and you have to like think on your feet. You're like, oh my god, we're outdoors, what do we do? One thing we ran into is on the second day of shooting, there was fog everywhere, and it's like we needed to start shooting immediately, but it had not gotten to the point of the story where fog being everywhere would work out. So we decided to actually start filming from the end and then move to the middle. So that was the interesting thing of essentially going like first day we had done scenes 1 through 6 in chronological order, but for day 2 it was like scene 12 to 7 backwards. So that was an interesting aspect of getting like there is a scene where Laval has to like run and exhaust himself and freak out, and it's just like it's so weird that he has to do this first thing in the morning. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning, and then had to like relax as the day went. So that was an interesting thing, and I know a lot of actors have to go through that. I recall reading that for Aliens, the scene at the beginning of the movie where you see them all together and they have the Marines with their great camaraderie. Apparently that was the last thing shot because James Cameron was like, you know what, I'll let them get to know each other while they film all this stuff, and then they can have this genuine camaraderie or this like early shot in the movie. And it's like, that's genius. And you essentially have to work with what you have, and what you have can be a missing set piece. Like our prop bird, we were originally going to have the red bird scene, and we could not find a good bird. They were all terrible birds. We worked around it. You know, we got figured something else out, and it ended up working out much better than if we had just found a perfect prop. So that was a very interesting experience. And with every film, it's a learning experience. You can only learn more with every experience. So yeah.
That is hilarious. You know, I don't know if you ever got a chance to see this film called Living in Oblivion. And it's about, you saw this about an independent filmmaker, the craziness he went through with the crew and the talent. And just so when you were talking about the scene with the actress running through the spider web, so it was in Oblivion, he was trying to get the mother and daughter to really connect so the audience could see that chemistry. Couldn't do it while the camera was rolling. And then, as soon as the camera turned off, amazingly.
Yeah. I recall I believe it's a Claire Denis film where it's about making a film and they have to do a love scene between two actors, but I think they had broken up with each other, and now the male actor is dating the director. So like they really just can't get this love scene properly. And I recall the entire movie is about just trying to film this one love scene and have it be passionate. And it's like, but the actors they have I would say animosity towards each other, and it's just stressful for the director. And it's just like, but you know, not all of us get to have a wonderful what happened to Baby Jane situation where you have two actresses that hate each other that have to play two people that hate each other on screen. So, that's the dream.
Now, you shot in the woods. Did you have any surprises from nature outside of the fog?
Surprises from nature? I didn't personally. Everyone told me they saw deer, and like I had not seen a deer outside of a zoo setting until like just 3 months ago. So, so that was a big thing for me with filming outside. Everyone was like, "Oh, there's a deer," and then I'd look, and of course, the deer disappeared, and I'm like, "I'm never gonna see deer." And then, of course, when I finally do see a deer 3 months ago, it's like, "Oh," and then there are more. And then there are more. So that's upstate for you. Oddly, Long Island, they just kind of vanish as soon as you look in their direction. So.
Well, we'll be right back after these messages. You're listening to Talk with Terra, presented by African American Women in Cinema, right here on Rudy Radio.
Hi, I'm Dan O'Shea, Executive Director for Maureen's Haven Homeless Outreach. It is our mission to support the homeless in our community. We provide an emergency winter shelter program, a day center, and support services to help the homeless in our community. With your help, we can continue to provide services so critically needed to the homeless in our community. Please visit www.maureen'shaven.org or call us at 631-727-683.
I am Madame Francois, and I'm introducing my new luxury skincare brand that's available to you at an attainable price. Discover my beauty secrets, luxurious, effective ingredients with proven results and a price tag that doesn't break the bank. Come indulge with me at lesmadamefrancois.com.
Welcome back to Talk with Terra. I am Terra Renee from African American Women in Cinema, and today we're talking with the phenomenal Shana, who is an incredible filmmaker, powerful woman who followed her dreams, and she was just sharing with us the behind the scenes that goes on, that happens when we are producing these incredible films that you all get to see, but you don't get to see the behind the scenes. So, Ms. Shana, can you please tell us what are some of the highlights that you can share with us in your whole process from the time that you had discovered you wanted to do this and your journey?
Well, it's the interesting thing of you get an idea in your head, and then there's like the scary process of getting that onto the page, and then like being like, well, if I start writing it, it might not be good once I write it, or the idea might not be as good. So like not doing it is an easy way to keep it perfect in your mind. But then once you finally write it and complete it, and you're like, it may not be perfect yet, but you're just like, okay, I got this out of my head and it's all right. I can make it better. So like, that's this wonderful stage of, I did that. So then it comes to, once you get that script where it needs to be, and it's oftentimes it's even better than you imagined in your head, or even quite different from what you imagined in your head in the writing process. Then there's the getting to production, and like, oh my gosh, like for me with production, every single time, 2 days before production, like I'm panicking and I'm thinking to myself, why can't this be next week or the next month? And then you get on set like that first day and it's like, you know what? I've done this before. I know how to do this. It'll be fine. And you do it and it's like, okay, I got over that hurdle and it's great. And then it's like the next movement is to editing, where you're just like, oh God, I didn't film this. We should have done this. We should have shot this one more time. We should have done it. You keep thinking of all the things you wish you could go back in time and fix. But you figure out how to work with what you have, and you fix it and you make it perfect. And it's like, okay, I've accomplished this hurdle. It's great. I've made it work. And then there's like the next hurdle of like, okay, now distribution. How do I get this seen by people? So every step of the way is this like new hurdle to get over and make an accomplishment. So it's like multiple layers. But once you get to that point where people see the work you've done, and whether they like it or not, it's great to see people seeing the ideas coming out of your head and hearing what they think. You know, it's such a great process to hear like, oh, I interpret it this way, or I interpret it that way. And specifically with the trail I've seen, it makes us, some people are like, oh, I identify with Karen's character. And then I identify with Laval's character. And I've gotten one person that's like, I identify with those bit characters that pass by the couple that are going to be right later. So it's such an interesting thing to see the different interpretations and the reactions to the story. So it's really an amazing process.
Yeah, that it is. Who inspired you, Shana? Anybody inspired you?
So, like as I said before, at West Indian parents, they're, you know, not about that getting a creative job thing. But as a kid, my mother was the person that she was like, oh, you like to draw? Because I would draw whatever. I love to copy characters, like Image and Marvel and DC Comics, and then create my own characters from these characters that I kind of copied. And she was like, you know, I'll put you in an art class. And so it was really not, it was something that she could have easily been like, well, we don't want to put her on that path, so we're not going to do that. But, you know, my parents did, and that was a great thing, you know, just taking drawing classes or painting classes during summer break. So that was really cool. And I definitely was raised with the typical Black parent thing of you have to be 10 times better than that person, because as a Black person, you have more, you have to be better just to be seen as equal. So I always found it important to, you know, just try my best to take it to the next level. And sure, it's definitely not fair that you have to be 10 times better than the next guy just to be considered all right. But makes you more creative. It makes you more organized. It makes you work harder. And
Yes. Yeah.
when you accomplish what you're reaching for, the people that tell you you don't deserve that, they come off as fools. So
yes. Yes. That is so true. I mean, do you find it hard to find that support team emotionally that will be there and say, go ahead, Shana, you know, we got you. You can do it. Is it hard to find that team?
It can be, but at times it's also like I have my friend Beanie Barnes. She's spectacular influence, and she's you know, she encouraged me to, well, she nominated me to apply to a screenwriters colony last year.
Wow.
And my script, it was for a pilot script called Wolf and Root, and then it ended up being selected as a finalist. And I was like,
wow, congratulations.
You know, this is something that she needed to pick someone to nominate. And she was like, you know what, I've seen that script, I liked it, I'm going to recommend it. And I, over the summer, I was filming upstate with her. I actually worked as costume supervisor for this program called Ghetto Film School that works with high school and college age kids to get them filmmaking. And it was a great experience. And, you know, she is someone that has made a great effort to get more young people out there, a lot more women, a lot more people of color, and she's very supportive. There's also my friend Tatiana Green. I happened to meet her by accident, and she gave me like my first commercial job as a producer, because I had said to her, you know, I wanted to learn more about producing more than my own films. And she was like, you know what, next time I have a job I think you could do, I will bring you on. And I got to line produce 2 commercials for her, and she was really great to work with. And it was a stressful, but at the same time, amazing experience. And ended up doing a commercial for Panera Bread. It was for an online campaign. And I was like, this has been seen more than anything I've done. But and it's so cool. And like, it's just an app for like free Wi-Fi at like Panera Bread. But like, I was just, like, I'm so proud of this. Like, and it was really a fun experience getting to help someone else make their vision, because she conceived of this like really amazing ad, and like I had to go and find the perfect cups and the perfect background, and like you know, make sure everyone ate lunch on time. So it was a great experience, and yeah, it was really cool. And I'm very thankful to both Tatiana and Beanie for giving me the opportunities to do more and expand.
Well, that is awesome. And we'll be right back after these messages. You're listening to Talk with Terra, presented by African American Woman in Cinema, right here on Rudy Radio.
I am Madame Francois, and I'm introducing my new luxury skincare brand that's available to you at an attainable price. Discover my beauty secrets, luxurious, effective ingredients with proven results and a price tag that doesn't break the bank. Come indulge with me at lesmadamefrancois.com.
Welcome back with Talk with Terra. I am Terra Renee from African American Woman in Cinema. We're talking with Miss Shana, independent filmmaker, and she have talked about her film project, The Trail, amongst many other wonderful subject matters that deals with independent filmmaking. Miss Shana, could you please tell the audience, those who are following or who would like to follow in your footsteps, what are some of the Shauna's to-dos and not to-do?
Well, I would say the big to-do is write the story you want to tell. Do not say to yourself, like, well, I see cop dramas about, single dad cops are successful right now. I'm going to write that. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm,
tell the story you want to tell. You may not get to make that story, but people will see how good you are if you can take this story that you care about and write the best script possible. And they will see what you're capable of. So you write the story you want to tell. And write it the way you want to tell it. Like, yes, there's lots of books out there that are like Save the Cat and blah, blah, blah. Like, you have to do this by the 10-minute mark and you have to do, you don't have to do that. Like some of my favorite films, they don't do things by this specific set guideline. You don't have to follow the particular guideline as long as your writing is clear and understandable and you understand correct script format. And even sometimes you can move out of the script format to like take that script to the next level. And I would also say learn everything, learn how to edit, learn how as much as you can about sound, learn what you can about the camera, because the more you understand all the different departments, the better you could be at telling people what you want. Because you don't want to be on set saying, well, I kind of want it to look like this. I don't know how to do that. It's so much more helpful if you could just say, you know what, I want this to be a wide shot, and then we're going to track in to an extreme close-up. Like your DP is going to understand that. So like learn all the lingo and study as much as you can about the art of editing, the art of cinematography, the art of motion graphics. Like there is a website called Art of the Title that shows opening and closing credits, and that's all this website is about. And they'll speak to the people that make these opening and closing titles, and it's amazing to find out how they come about these things. Like I know I read an article for the people that did the opening credits of Dinner for Schmucks, which like features these like mice and cute scenes, and they were explaining, like real life mice, they look creepy, so we like made new little dolls that look like mice but do not look like real dead mice. So it was like just digging this whole process of how they came up with these opening credits that fully did a great job of explaining the Steve Carell character in complete silence. So it's like really great to like know how to talk to the people you're going to be working with and help. Even like try taking a couple of acting classes, because if you could understand what it's like to be the person on the other side of the camera, can help you talk to the actors and speak their language. You need to be able to speak everybody's language on set, because as director, a mess up may not be your fault, but you're going to take the blame. And the best way to avoid that blame is to make sure everything is the way you want it. So when someone says they don't like it, you're not sitting there like, well, if I had talked to the cinematographer and told them that I wanted it to be, have bouquet and had known that, you won't have regrets. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's the important thing. Like, it's better to do and be a little disappointed in the outcome than to not do and regret not trying. So, like they say, motion before emotion. Like, just get out there and do it, and do what you want to do and understand how to do it the best you can.
That is so awesome. What are some of your favorite films, Shana, that is out there?
Oh wow, there's so many. I have to admit, I'm a diehard fan of Blade, the original one with Wesley Snipes. Remember going to see that opening weekend? Loved that movie. I also really like both The Joy Luck Club and The Color Purple. Those are the two movies where I'm like, I need a cry. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna have some sad crying and some happy crying. I'll watch those. Also, Children of Men. That's a phenomenal movie that I'm a really big fan of. I really like the films of David Fincher and Denis Villeneuve. I think they are directors with very distinct visual stories they tell. So I love how they do that. I'm a big fan of the cinematographer Bradford Young.
Yes.
Shoots beautifully, and I know he often uses a lot of natural light, and like everything he puts on screen is just like, that is gorgeous. I did the cinematography for Arrival, and it's just it looks phenomenal. And of course, Roger Deakins, he's a spectacular cinematographer. Also, I'm a big fan of Larry Fong. He did the cinematography for a lot of Zack Snyder's films, and they always just look great. And Zack Snyder is one of my favorite action directors. I do wish I could like name a lot of female directors, but they're like just not enough getting out there badly. I did enjoy Reed Morano, who had done Handmaid's Tale, and she was formerly a cinematographer. She did a movie recently called The Rhythm Section that I quite enjoyed. So I'm looking forward to see what else she's going to be doing in the future. Dee Reese, she's a spectacular director. She had done I forgot the name.
Bound. Oh no, she did. Yeah, she done Bound, and she did. And I'm right there with you on that other film that she did as well.
Well, she did Mudbound. Yeah, Mudbound is such a great movie, and she had done a great movie before that, and the name of it is just like somewhere
else. Is that the one with Queen Latifah and Monique?
Not that one. It's a young unknown actress. Just look up Dee Reese and you'll see it. Karen Kusama, she is a spectacular director also. She did this movie called The Invitation. Just go into it blind. It's spectacular, but she had also done Girl Fight and Jennifer's Body, which are also two really great movies. But definitely look up The Invitation on Netflix. And just keep watching, and that's all I'll say.
Well, I tell you, I don't know where the time went, but they're telling me that we have to go. I want to thank you so much for listening to Talk with Terra. I'm Terra Renee from the African American Women in Cinema Organization. You can visit us at www.aawic.org. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Shana, would you like to share with the audience your social media handles so they can follow you?
Well, I'm on Instagram, Awesome Shana. So
yes, you are.
There's also on Twitter, I'm Shana Darabie. Thankfully, I'm the only Shana Darabie in the world. So as long as you spell my name right, you will find me. So Instagram, Twitter. My website is mybotworks.com. MYBOTWORKS. So
excellent.
I will be updating it soon. I've been doing some documentary work that I need to get on there, but a lot of my photography and design and other short films are on there. So go check it out.
Awesome. Awesome. Talk with Terra is made possible by Rude Rangers Entertainment. Our creative director is the powerful Rudy J. Breedy. Please don't forget to like and share this episode with as many people as possible. We sincerely appreciate you joining us today and wish you continued peace, blessings, and prosperity. See you on the next episode.